Hi friends, strangers, internet. My name is Emily Hanhan. I love colorful makeup and colorful language. So I'm very excited because it is time for another new makeup nonsense. And without kind of blathering too much, if you've been following my social media or Theresa's social media at all, we've both been kind of a mess in the last few weeks. So we've been trying to coordinate to do another one of these, and it's finally time. And I'm happy that like Theresa was sick, she's feeling better. I had some stuff going on, I'm feeling better. Work stuff, all this. So it's been a little while, and that is why. So I'll just plug, if you're not following me on social media, I'm at Nomnivorous on Instagram, Twitter, and Theresa is dead. I definitely think Theresa's always worth a follow, and I like what I'm posting these days. I do say so myself. So new makeup, just a quick run through if you've never seen one. It's basically like new makeup releases meets a bingo game meets a drinking game. So we have bingo cards. I have them linked in the description box. Theresa and I have pulled together, like this week it's a little under 30 different releases we could possibly talk about, and I'm incorporating a new component that was a little bit of an idea that Theresa had, and I think she might be doing it in her video. I don't make her video, so I don't know, but it's basically one of those random wheels, those spin wheels. So hopefully I'll have some screen recorded captures of like the wheel picking what I'm talking about next. So that keeps it randomized. Hopefully we don't have to go through all of the releases that we picked out to hit bingo on our card, but if it takes that long, it takes that long. And every time we hit bingo, we take a drink. So that's the situation. If you're not a drinker, you can enjoy some good Christian tobacco, or a glass of water, or a milkshake, or I don't care, whatever you want to do to like, you can play along. And if you want to play along, definitely do. We have like hashtags you can post under, and we love seeing like other people doing these videos. They're fun. It's not that serious. And you get to talk about makeup, which for me, that's always like the best part. Because it's been a while, there was a lot of things to pick from, and I noticed that a lot of the things that we're talking about, it's not one product, it's collections. It's full collections. So this should be interesting. Oh, joy. The very first thing that was picked is the Too Faced Gingerbread Holiday Collection, which includes the gingerbread bronzer, which we did mention in a previous episode. It includes the extra spicy gingerbread palette. I can't say it better than Lacey did, and I'm just gonna terribly paraphrase that palette is as spicy as mayo is. Her most recent anti-haul is delicious. It's great. There's a hot buttered rum palette, which is like a face and eye palette, which looks like they've reused some packaging, which I'm not mad about. I hate the different pan sizes, but I'm not mad about them reusing packaging. There's lip gloss, and there's matte liquid lipsticks and bullet lipsticks, and the lip gloss comes in a little thing that looks like a gingerbread man, and I don't know how to feel. I do think of all the kinds of holiday packaging that I've seen and that I will see, that like, this is pretty cute. I also generally avoid holiday sets because I think that the quality is less than ideal. So for me, probably the only thing I'm particularly drawn to is maybe trying the liquid lipstick sets, because I'm down for some mini lipsticks. The extra spicy is so bland to me and so overdone. I know I kind of shat on the gingerbread man bronzer, but like that one has softened me up a little bit. So that's, I think, enough ramblings about neutral Too Faced holiday stuff. Just generally, I'm kind of lukewarm on all of it, but it also kind of is Too Faced knows what they're doing. Let's just say that. But I kind of made a new spot on the bingo card specifically for this stupid extra spicy palette. So I'm going to give it that spot on the card because extra spicy my ass. Time for another spin. The Give Me Glow Vintage Rose collection. So this is a palette and some liquid lipsticks that I have had my eye on for, oh, wait. I almost forgot. That was for Too Faced. Also, just a quick note, there's no cocktail recipe in this video because I definitely MacGyvered this drink together, and it's strong. And I also had a drink before. I had a drink before because I did a video doing a get ready with me using my single eyeshadow version of a Vintage Rose palette. So this Give Me Glow Vintage Rose palette, I've had my eyes on for months, and I may still buy it, but I decided I wanted to wait for reviews. So I think I was with Lacey when the full palette was revealed, and I totally think it's beautiful, but I'm not actually sure if the mix of colors that are there are something I want in my collection, because I have a ton of greens and I have some pinks, and I don't reach for coppers and dark reds that often. So I think it's a great price, honestly. It's $36. I guess my thoughts on this is that, like, I'm still, it's on my list. It's on my, like, second tier list of things I would want to buy. It's on my, like, if I have just money to throw at all the makeup that I would want in my life, it would come home to me. But for now, I'm using my little singles, and it doesn't have my heart the way the first 4 colors revealed for me. So one of the main reasons why this palette kind of fell off of my top tier ranking is that it ended up being basically a half neutral, half colorful palette. Like, to me, the reds and coppers read neutral, and then you have the greens and the pinks. So I'm going to give it that spot on the bingo card. I know for a lot of people red is not neutral, but any of those warm toned, like, colors just feel like they've been done a billion times, and for a lot of people that they're like go-to neutrals. And while we spin, we'll have a drink. Ooh, okay. The Lime Crime Venus Immortalis palette. I see you, Lime Crime, and I see you doing a palette that's actually interesting. This is kind of in that, what I'm calling the second tier range for me, where it's something that catches my eye, and I would try it if, like, money was no object. I'm not super comfortable though with cool tones of that range where I want to spend the Lime Crime cost for it. But I am down for this direction. I'm down for brands doing palettes that just are just interesting. I don't need this color story, but I'm intrigued. I've never purchased from Lime Crime, and they're one of those, like, brands where I'm just kind of questioning still. But if they keep going in this direction, I might pick something up. We'll see. I don't want this one in particular, but I like that direction. The other thing that I just realized is that the packaging glows in the dark. That's even cooler. And so I'm looking at the Lime Crime website now, and their little, like, line for this is, get lost in the hours of darkness once you've dipped into the realm of eternal divinity. And that feels maybe not totally spooky theme, but I'm giving this the dark art square, which I added because we kept seeing all kinds of, you know, Ouija boards, and you know, we have Halloween coming, all kinds of those themed releases. So we have another spot on the card. We'll take another drink and spin again. The next thing up is the Mack and Pony makeup, or Pony Park. Sorry, I'm already butchering this because vodka. the Mack and Pony collection. So this collection is like a tarot themed collection. I am only drawn to the packaging. The whole like palette where the cover looks like a tarot card. Just, that's nice. That's nice. So I don't know Pony specifically. I've heard of her, but I don't know what her makeup style is. But the super basic neutral palette doesn't draw me in. The packaging is stunning, but it's super, super neutral. And if it was like, and I say this all the time, there's interesting textures and things happening, I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, it's on my, like, if I had plenty of money to spend, I would buy it. But like, to me, this doesn't even have interesting textures or colors happening. So I'm giving it the basic AF neutral spot on the card, which means another drink and another spin. So the Ulta and Funko Pop Disney Villains collection. When I first saw this sneak peeked, I was confused yet intrigued, and I still feel that way. I have a soft spot for the Disney villains. I don't know if I was kind of into the Disney princesses, but being a fat kid, all it took for me was seeing Ursula, and then I was like, oh, I want to be a Disney villain. I don't want to be a princess. Like, if a fat lady can be a Disney villain, I'll be one of those too. Literally my brain. So like, I see this collection and I'm like, oh, I kind of like it. But I also realize how ridiculous this is. So I've already like talked myself back from actually buying anything from this collection. I think it's ridiculous, and I can't decide if it's like a good ridiculous or a bad ridiculous, but I know it's a ridiculous that's not for me. So it includes Ursula, Maleficent, Cruella de Vil, and the Evil Queen. I don't see any pricing, but it looks like there's some eye palettes and maybe some face palettes and eyeliners and glosses. The Ulta glosses are nice, but you don't need ones with chunky Funko tops. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go back to that, like, it's ridiculous and I can't decide if it's a good ridiculous or a bad ridiculous, but it's there. And I gotta give this to a makeup release with a brand that is not known for their makeup. So yeah. And we have another spin. So we have the KKW and Winnie Harlow collection, collaboration. This has a 12 pan eyeshadow palette that's $50 and it looks pretty standard neutral. We have a highlighter duo and we have glosses. So I'm kind of neutral on this though, but what I've seen from her brand, I feel like the palette is pretty standard of things she's already made and has out. I am a sucker for a highlighter duo, and I think it's interesting how she has two shades that I feel like could work on like her or Winnie. And then she has some glosses. I do think it's pretty cool that she's working with Winnie Harlow because Winnie is representing a part of the population that doesn't really get seen in mass media. Because I'm suspect of the Kardashians as a whole. Sometimes I wonder if this kind of choice is just for pandering purposes or if it's an actual like relationship that they've created. I'm just gonna say, like, congrats, Winnie. I hope that this pushes you further into, you know, doing more whatever you want to do. And I just don't think it's that interesting though, and I don't even think it's like that interesting specifically for the KKW brand. Not for me. I'm not the target audience. It is more lip glosses though, and we have some lip glosses on the bingo card, so I'm gonna give it that, because unlike 6 months ago where people were still releasing liquid lipsticks like they were popular, I think people are releasing lip glosses like they are super popular. We're gonna take another drink and do another spin. Also, if my glass looks more full than it just did a minute ago, I did just refill it slightly. But this is all the cocktail I have left over. If I run out of drink, I'm kind of screwed because this is also all my vodka. Okay, the next thing up is the Colourpop and Kathleenlights So Jaded palette. Let me give you a little information before I just tear it to shreds, because that's how I'm feeling. This is a palette that has 30 eyeshadows in it. It's $39. And according to Trend Mood, it is a permanent item. I want to say that so that anyone that's dealing with FOMO right now can just be reminded. It looks like it's a permanent item, so keep that in mind. So I've instantly heard some people saying this is like the less problematic Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I'll give them that. It's more interesting to me. I don't own the Jaclyn Hill palette, although I got real close a couple of times. I'm still not totally sold on Colourpop including these damn pressed glitters and palettes like this, especially because I think it was Karen Harris, a couple people have mentioned like Colourpop has a very young audience, and so to put pressed glitters that are not eye safe in a palette that a teenager or a tween could easily get their hands on feels really negligent, because like I'm an adult. I know that if I put a glitter like that on my eyelids that I might be fucking myself over, but somebody that's younger doesn't really know that. So I'm torn on that part of things. It's it's fine, I guess. I also just don't want Colourpop to go into these big palettes. I don't want them to do that. I like a 9 pan, a 12 pan. Like I like that size palette, and this price point and this size, this feels a little bit like a money grab. So I mean, and Colourpop like had the self-deprecating sense of humor to say it was like the millionth collaboration with Kathleenlights. Okay, that's funny, but you're also not diversifying who you're collaborating with. And I don't think I'm gonna pick it up. Maybe if it goes on sale one day and I've seen really good reviews, maybe I will. I'm not gonna say I'll never pick it up, but it's not for me right now. But that good old free space, it's a Colourpop release, is going to get its mark. Let's begin. Okay, so the next choice up is the It's Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette. And I didn't even realize that It's Likely Makeup, which I know of as an Instagram account, had a makeup line. If I'm seeing this right, it looks like it's their first like pigment color release. I'm super interested in this palette. I posted this on Instagram in my stories. When I saw this palette, all I could think about is like old Sugar Pill quad like vibes. So I remember I watched Kardashian, formerly Vintage or Tacky, years and years ago. It was probably the first YouTube account that I followed. And I think she had some of the Sugar Pill quads. And I always regretted never buying those because those were gorgeous. Like the purple, pink, red, yellow quad thing. I'll have a picture on the screen. But when I saw the Clown Blush palette, it just felt like that. Like with the packaging and the colors and the size of the pans, it felt like that. So it looks like it's launching on September 9th. I don't see a price on the Likely Makeup Instagram account, but it might have to be mine. I don't need it. Don't need it at all, but it might have to be mine. But this is like a perfect example of like an indie makeup release that I totally see a lot of people saying, "What? Who wants that?" and like a core audience being like, gimme, 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 gimme. So that's where I am. I'm at gimme, gimme, gimme. Yeah. I'm gonna stop talking about a freaking blush palette. Okay, you might disagree with me, but I'm gonna give this to a new influencer brand because I do feel like that this is a new world for what looked like it was an existing like eyelash brand. I feel like going into makeup, like this is a new brand to me. So I'm gonna give them the new influencer brand spot on the bingo card because I think they fit that situation. I could also give them copycat vibes to the sugar pill thing, but I feel like that might be reaching. I may be reaching a little bit with that. So next up we have the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. This is a whole collection, it looks like. So first thing, Urban Decay has hired Lizzo in their marketing for this palette. I am here for that. I'm here for it. I want, if it's not obvious, I want more fat people in the spotlight. So while right now Lizzo is like being the kind of tokenized one person that is being highlighted, I am here for Lizzo getting all of her money. And I think that I'll try to post, there's one image that I saw that just made me go like, damn, damn, damn. Beyond fangirling. The honey palette, oh, I think it's one of those palettes that I need to see in person. Because the images made me laugh. Like, laugh at how... That was my cat, sorry. The images made me laugh at how, like, boring and neutral and not yellow tone this palette was. The swatches make me go like, maybe, I don't know. I still don't think it's gonna be a palette that I want to take home, but it might be better in person than the swatches show, which really annoys me. All of these big brands have all of this money, and yet they cannot do marketing images that are real to the palette to save their fucking lives. And so by the time the palette gets released, people are like, it's boring, I don't want it, whatever, I'm over it. And in person, it's like way more interesting, or it's prettier or whatever. Like, why can't these big brands do decent marketing photos? Why do their photos look so different from like one to another? And they're both marketing photos. Like, there's so many brands doing that. It's not just Urban Decay, but the honey palette like reminded me of that. So that's that. So it's their naked palette. It's $49. But they also are releasing lip plumpers, and they're also releasing scented body powders. And for all of the 90s nostalgia that has come back into trend, I just say it's about fucking time, Urban Decay, because I don't know what it is, but I feel like the scented body powders are like a little part of their history that they should have been featuring more often. I don't want them. Like, you can keep them. I don't want them. But I feel like people do want them. So it's about time. I feel like there's been hints at like their body powders coming back for years, or maybe that's just been my little like conspiracy theory corner of the beauty internet that I've been a part of. Good on them for tapping into that world, because that like 90s nostalgia, that to me is Urban Decay. And it's a food themed makeup release. I gotta start drinking smaller drinks because I'm almost out. Okay. Oh, the Makeup Revolution Halloween collection. This looks fun. It's huge. It looks really big. There's a lot of different parts to it. There's some skull liquid highlighters that look like they're a direct knockoff of Bitter Lace Beauty. There's an eyeball highlighter that Theresa already bought that now I want. There's so many palettes, but like, I feel like it's so internet to be like, give me the Halloween stuff, but give me the Halloween stuff. I really like Halloween. I like a lot of the fall holidays. I like Halloween and I like Thanksgiving. I like those two holidays more than I like Christmas. So the last I saw, it's a pressed glitter palette. It's the skull highlighters, the white face base, liquid latex, blood. I see liquid lipsticks. I've seen palettes. There's like Jeffree Star blood sugar palette dupes. There's all these things that are Halloween related. So I just really like them. I like Halloween related stuff. And I keep saying that I know this is not related, but kind of related. If Colourpop is going to keep doing this, like, we're pushing out all this bullshit kind of situation, they just need to come out with a really fucking cool Halloween collection. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that. But until then, I think that this Makeup Revolution collection, I'm excited to see it. And yeah, not mad about it at all. I am going to give them the major copycat vibes because of course they have that blood sugar looking palette, and they have those highlights that look like Bitter Lace Beauty, which is a small indie brand. So I don't love seeing Makeup Revolution doing those super copycat kind of things, but seems to be the thing that they keep doing. So the next product up is the Devious Place Nomad palette. The Nomad palette both confuses me and intrigues me. I'm confused because there are two yellows that look very, very similar. But there's also like a weird yellowy, greeny brown and a green, and there's yellows, which I love. Sometimes I used to be able to see Devious Place color stories and like I could reason them out in my head, and other people didn't always get it, and I understand, like I understand that. But there's been a couple of palettes lately that I just feel like I just don't get. And there's so many palettes that I see from them that I would buy to depot and use as single eyeshadows, but that feels so wasteful to me. So it could be a really good addition to their collection, and it could be a really good pairing palette with something like the Tribe palette. But this is another situation where I feel like the photos do it a major disservice. Nude Sticks and Hilary Duff Daydreamer collection. This includes a blush, a highlighter, 3 eye colors, and a gel formula lip and cheek balm. The thing that I find interesting about this is that it says straight up in the Trend Mood post that Hilary invested in this brand. Earlier in the year, she invested in the brand as a business and then fell in love with the products. There's something that feels kind of weird about like doing having a collab, but it's with an investor. It's less weird because they're obviously being a little bit more upfront about it, but it's just kind of weird to me where it's like are you putting your face on this collaboration because you think it's gonna sell more, which is a better investment for you, or are you doing it as like an ego move because you're an investor and you want to put your like face on things? Like I don't know, that feels kind of weird. And because it's being sold as like a set where you get the highlight stick and the cheek stick and the eye colors, like a 6-pack with a bag that has Daydreamer all over it, I'm going to give this to a bundle deal that no one wants. And motion. Oh. This one is a big collection that looks kind of fun, but also kind of ridiculous. This is a Shuamera and Pokemon collection. So this Shuamera and Pokemon collection is huge. There are there's a Catch 'em All cleansing oil, there's a Catch 'em All Pikachu lip coffret. I've always loved that word, coffret. It has 5 mini lipsticks. There's a Thunder Shock palette that has 12 shades. There's a Brick Blast eyeshadow palette in 9 shades. A Mythical Purple eyeshadow palette in 9 shades. A brow pencil, a BB oil, a brush, a bow and arrow, a incher, a brush set, a case, and blusher. This collection, I don't hate it. I think there's something about this combination of like a childish theme in a modern packaging that still feels playful, but you could also like pull out a lipstick at work or, you know, out to dinner and not feel like you're using child's makeup. So yeah, I mean, I think Ameri always kind of kills it with these collections. This is their holiday collection to boot. So they did a Mario one a couple years ago. I think last year had a chocolate theme. I'm not mad about it. I don't particularly want anything from it, but I'm not mad about it. I'm gonna give this the kind of holiday packaging spot on the card. A holiday release with the most extra packaging. This is not the worst that we've already seen, but I feel like there's something about that package that kind of perfectly combines the theme with like the vibe of Shu Uemura together, and it feels extra in just the right way. So the Melt Radioactive collection. This is a palette. Looks like there's 2 different blushes and there are 2 different liquid lipsticks. The multicolor blush highlighter kind of products, I would love them in my collection. I would take them all. I am a blush slut. Shout out to Theresa's Discord for that term. And this eyeshadow palette. I was reading people talk about Melt, actually on Theresa's Discord, and how like Melt feels like this brand that seemed so amazing. It seemed like they were doing so many cool, edgy things. And then somewhere along the line, they like lost their way. And the things that they're releasing just feel like they're not quite right with the brand. So this Radioactive palette is $48. It has 8 shades in it, but 4 of them are from the Radioactive stack they released like years ago. To me, this feels really gross because I feel like the main reason why I heard about Melt is their customers are their best cheerleaders, and their customers are the ones that are like on forums on Reddit or on YouTube or in these other groups that are saying their formula is the shit. It's great. The stacks are amazing, or whatever is amazing. The, you know, bullet lipsticks, whatever it is. That's how I know about Melt. It's their customers. If their customers have already bought the Radioactive stack, now they're seeing this being released and saying, but why am I going to spend $48 for 4 new shades when I already have 4? So for me, as an outsider who has not yet bought from Melt, I see everything and it just feels weird. I don't need a rainbow palette right now, if ever. So I'm not going to give them my money for that. If this palette ever went on sale, or the blushes ever went on sale at Sephora, I would probably buy them because I love color and because I am curious to try the Melt formula. And at the same time, that gives me bingo, because if nothing else, that palette is a rainbow palette. So the Melt Radioactive gives me the bingo as being a rainbow palette, and that finishes the game and my drink. If you have any interest in making these videos, please do. I'm gonna have details in the description box of like where you can find the bingo cards and things like that. It's really fun, even if I make it seem a little bit more serious than it is. It is really fun, and there's no pressure on like doing any specific style of video or style of editing. Like, just do what makes you happy. If you are not subscribed and you enjoy this video, I would love to see you subscribe and follow along with my colorful shenanigans. I tend to do these kinds of makeup opinion videos, duping the vibe style videos inspired by new releases, get ready with me's, and other kind of random colorful makeup style videos. If any of that sounds interesting to you, feel free to subscribe and follow along. For anyone that is kept along with this ridiculous little game show, thank you for spending a bit of your day with me, and I hope to see you again real soon. Bye, friends.